morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is AES and welcome to my YouTube channel. I have and will always think of video games as a pastime hobby that I mainly use to relax and have a semi-stress-free experience. It is why I recently found myself prefer single-player games to multiplayer titles because A, I'm only competing against myself in the former, and B, I often get frustrated with the latter due to a lack of skill or cheap online tactics. When it comes to competitive gameplay, there are only two types of rewards for skilled sessions. On one hand, you solely receive personal satisfaction. It is the most popular outcome. On the other hand, you earn a physical reward or even money. This result appears in various competitions around the world, and the one that is the most appealing to me is EVO, or the Evolution Championship Series. Their focus is on fighting games. I have never considered myself anything special in that genre, but it fascinates me time and time again to see high-skill bouts between two or more individuals who have been practicing for months or years. In today's video, we will focus on the type of video games that is presented at EVO and rank my top 10 favorite fighting games. A couple of housekeeping rules before we get started. First, the following picks are ranked based on the quality and quantity of their content, as well as how much I personally enjoy them. Secondly, I am including the version that I played, which will be important when I discuss the ins and outs of said version, and it is the only one that I have played. Lastly, and as always, my lists are subjective and reflect my opinion. If you have a different list, please share them in the comment section so we can discuss them. Without further ado, let's rank my top 10 fighting video games of all time. Number 10, Mortal Kombat 11. We kick off the list with NetherRealm's latest outing, Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat is a franchise that is known for gory fatalities and a straightforward, yet enjoyable story in a guilty pleasure kind of way. Gather the strongest fighters on Earth to defeat a demon and his own warriors. The same principles apply to the number 10 pick on this list, as you will spend a good part of your time with saving the Earth, beating up your foes, and successfully executing them in the most violent way imaginable. As a game that can run on a portable device, meaning the Nintendo Switch, the story is at the top of its class. The characters are varied and intriguing, and the 60 frames per second during the bouts are much appreciated. You would think that all these attributes would award this entry a higher ranking, but the system to unlock characters, costumes, and moves, as far as the Nintendo Switch version upon release is concerned, completely wrecked any long-term enjoyment for me. Not only does it feel like an absolute chore to even unlock a single item, but you cannot gain any substantial resources offline, which are used to unlock the aforementioned items. I am aware that the monotonous nature of tackling the game's unlockables has eased in the past couple of years, but it does not change the sour taste that it left in my mouth in 2019. At its core, Mortal Kombat 11 is great. As a package, you would really have to enjoy the common mechanics to get the most out of it. It is not a bad game, but it remains at the number 10 spot because the next 9 games are not as grindy as Mortal Kombat 11 when it first came out. Number 9, Ultra Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter is one of the oldest franchises that are based in the fighting genre. In fact, Ken and Ryu are two of the most well-known characters in gaming, period. I entered the realm of Ultra Street Fighter 4 years after its launch and without any personal experience in the series. In general, I was quite impressed by what I witnessed. The visual presentation of the game is gorgeous, there's a sizable roster of fighters and modes, and there's a set of challenges for each of the 44 playable characters. Sadly, there is a mode that, quite frankly, is missing from most titles in the genre: story. Let's keep it a buck. You play games as Guilty Gear and BlazBlue for the gameplay, and you check out titles such as Mass Effect 2 and A Bird's Story for the plot. However, I cannot ignore the omission of a tale when NetherRealm games like Mortal Kombat 11 includes one, and a good one at that. It also doesn't help my impressions on the game that I could not play its online component. It is my fault because I gave the title a shot 6 years after it was available to fellow gamers. Ultimately, my inability to play against other people online is not the reason as to why Ultra Street Fighter 4 is at the number 9 spot. It is rather because of the absence of a story mode and tutorials. Number 8, Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects. The biased pick of this ranking, Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects is a game that took away a ridiculous amount of my free time when I religiously played it on the PlayStation Portable. The handheld version may not have the story mode from its PlayStation 2 counterpart, but the gameplay is strangely fun that I can make a small exception with this title. The roster is solid, the visuals are decent, and the utilization of the environment to inflict damage is entertaining. Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects will not win any awards, but I will never have a problem with placing the UMD disc in my handheld and beating up Wolverine as Spider-Man. Number 7. Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. I vaguely remember those childhood memories at the arcades where I played the original Soul Calibur and Virtua Fighter. Both games are vastly different from each other, but they made me smile regardless of the differences. As the years have gone by, several Soul Calibur entries were released in the franchise, but I was not invested enough to the point that I wanted to check out the most recent title, Soul Calibur 6. As far as Virtua Fighter is concerned, I had the opposite reaction. Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown came out of nowhere this year for the PlayStation 4, and it was a free title on the PlayStation Plus service to boot. It lacks a traditional narrative-based experience, but it makes up for it with its beautiful presentation and characters that feel unique from each other. You have a ninja that resembles Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden, a drunk senior, a wrestler that reminds me of Rey Mysterio from the WWE, among many others. The online component is also solid, and includes ranked and unranked modes, as well as tournaments. I was shocked that Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown was a free game for PlayStation Plus users, but hey, I'm not going to complain if I receive a free product. If you're looking for a game that will introduce you to the fighting genre, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown is an exceptional pick, as the combat is easy to get into but hard to master. If it had more robust modes, it would have been higher on this ranking. As of now, it sits at the number 7 spot. Number 6. Marvel Superheroes vs Street Fighter. Good lord, do I love Marvel Superheroes vs Street Fighter. I was honestly debating whether I should include this game or X-Men vs Street Fighter. I decided to incorporate the former option because it improves everything from the latter. The soundtrack, the character roster, the gameplay, the flashy combos. I played this game upon release and I loved every single moment of it. Once again, it does not have a story mode. Nevertheless, I will give the number 6 spot on this list a pass because A, it succeeds in everything else, and B, fighting games back in the day were not packed with detailed campaigns. My only minor gripe with this title is how the penultimate boss fight is the exact same battle as the final confrontation in X-Men vs Street Fighter. Nevertheless, I absolutely adore Marvel Superheroes vs Street Fighter, and you absolutely should play it if you're a fan of the genre. It is still worth an attempt though, if you want to see what the fighting genre is all about. Number 5. Injustice 2. Oh boy, we have arrived at the game with which I have a love-hate relationship. As a package, Injustice 2 is a game that caters to a long-term investment. The included story mode with a cool premise and great performances proves why NetherRealm is at the top of the mountain when it comes to storytelling in fighting games. The list of characters is mechanically and visually diverse, and it also includes a few surprises, particularly with the downloadable content. Although these two aspects are nice, the multiverse mode and the loot system will keep you playing for a long time. The former adds hourly, weekly, and monthly challenges that either apply to all fighters or solely to one of them. The latter rewards the completion of challenges and other in-game feats with gear that can enhance your characters and at times change their appearances. If you're worried about a lack of balance during online play, fear not, as there is a sub-mode in multiplayer that allows you to fight other players and exclude powered-up gear. I really enjoyed my time with Injustice 2, but it is the pursuit of the Platinum Trophy that led to some frustration. One of the trophies required me to beat Cheetah with Catwoman with a move called Cat Call. In order to get this ability, you need to earn it from a loot box. I kid you not when I say that I spent 300 hours while looking for this move, and at 4 AM in the morning on a weekend, I managed to finally get it. This grind is the sour note of my experience with Injustice 2, but I can testify that it is a fantastic fighting game that is worth your time and money. Number 4. Dead or Alive 5 Plus. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on the Dead or Alive franchise. I've only been aware of the franchise from the addition of Ryu Hayabusa from the Ninja Gaiden series and the Dead or Alive Extreme titles that were definitely designed with the male community in mind. Nonetheless, I decided to purchase Dead or Alive 5 Plus because I wanted a fighting game on the go and that money was well spent. The character roster is diverse and varied. The number of modes both offline and online is ridiculous. The combat system is enthralling and engaging. There is a story mode that, although cheesy at times, is appreciated. Dead or Alive Plus is one of the most beefy titles in the genre, and if you're looking for an experience that justifies the retail cost, this is the one. If you already own the original Dead or Alive 5, it will be the only case where you may want to carefully think about whether or not you want to spend another $60 for practically the same game. Number 3, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This pick might rub people the wrong way, but it needs to be said. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is not only the best entry in the series, but I personally will not mind it if the franchise never receives another subsequent experience. I will be content with playing the number 3 spot on my list over and over while receiving new characters and stages every now and then. A video game that celebrates several well-known first-party titles from Nintendo and third-party titles as well. Ultimate presents the best multi-IP phenomena in gaming. Insanely large cast of characters, a plethora of modes and items to unlock, and the ability to play on the go is a huge bonus. I will always have a small spot in my heart for the original Super Smash Bros., but Ultimate wrecks the competition within the franchise. Even though there's a bit of lag while playing online and the adventure mode can be cheap and repetitive at times. If you own a Nintendo Switch, there is no reason as to why you should skip Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 2, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. I will always find an excuse to praise Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. The original Budokai for the PlayStation 2 had the presentation and soundtrack on point, but the gameplay was too simplified. The second game improved upon the aforementioned aspects in the combat system, but the layout of its single-player main attraction was questionable. Budokai 3 is the best of both worlds. Spectacular animations, wonderful soundtrack, which was sadly changed in the HD collection for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. The gameplay is more complex due to the implementation of Dragon Rush and Hyper modes. The story mode is mundane, but it has a semi-open world, leveling up mechanics, and rewards for exploration. The process of unlocking characters is a tad repetitive, but Budokai 3 is one of the best fighting games of all time and my favorite Dragon Ball Z game as of the recording of this video. As much as I love the Dragon Ball Z anime, there's one title that passes by Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 in terms of its content's quality and a bigger appeal to both newcomers and professional players. Number 1, Tekken 7. There may be some flack headed my way, but it's my list and I'm glad about my pick for the best fighting game of all time. Tekken 3 is nostalgic in many ways and Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection is a system sale for the PlayStation Portable, but neither of them touches Tekken 7 in terms of the quality and quantity, for obvious reasons. Each fighter feels and plays differently from the other combatants. The number of offline and online modes is utter madness, with a special shout out to the always amusing Tekken Bowl. The tutorials are extensive and teach multiple components of online battles. The visuals are slick and smooth. The music excites you for punching and kicking your way to the top of the tournaments. The narrative is predictable, but it is more coherent than the other games in the franchise. Tekken 7 is at the top of the list because it has all the tools for someone who never touched a fighting game in the past or someone who competes at EVO. Don't believe me about the latter? Well, there is an online mode in the game that allows entry to real gaming tournaments. Future NetherRealm games could easily pass Tekken 7, but for now, the number 1 pick is the best video game in its respective genre. Before we end this video, I will give you a bonus ranking. This time it will be the top 10 finishing moves in fighting games. I won't talk about them too much. Instead, I will show you the moves and let you judge them for yourselves. Enjoy. Number 10, a series of kicks. Ken from Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. Number 9, time to play volleyball. Panda from Tekken 7. Number 8, is that the Big Bang? Starfire from Injustice 2. Number 7, I'll slap some sense into you. Raider from Dead or Alive 5 Plus. Number 6, a sweaty roll. Hakan from Ultra Street Fighter 4. Number 5, the best scene from X-Men 2. Magneto from Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects.
Dare thought you could beat the master of magnetism? Pathetic.
Number 4, the power of water. Blastoise from Pokken Tournament. Number 3, face grab from the rear. Melina from Mortal Kombat 11.
Fatality. Melina wins.
Number 2, Armageddon. Sephiroth from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
がメテオで超新星を起こし星ごと破裂させるというダイナミックな技です。ここそれぞれの人たちが違うリアクションを取ってるというのにお気づきになりましたでしょうか。
Number 1, how Dragon Ball GT should have ended. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta from Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3.
I'm here. Let's see you survive this one. Talk about some pitiful techniques.
Well folks, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for checking it out. Which fighting game is your favorite? Which finishing move is your favorite? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time, have a great day or evening wherever you are. My name is AES, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.